The following podcast is provided by Era Living, innovator in residential retirement options since 1987. And welcome everyone to Answers for Elders Radio Network. And thanks to Era Living, we have an amazing resource for so many of us out there because we get to kind of have an inside scoop of what goes on in senior communities. And if you've ever thought about moving into a senior community or sharing with a loved one about helping them, I hope that these podcasts are helpful to you. And we're certainly glad to have a wonderful lady with us, Lynn, and I am going to probably pronounce your name really badly. I apologize. It's Coulibaly.
It's Coulibaly.
Coulibaly. I was close.
Yes.
Lynn, it's nice. So nice to meet you. And you are a resident of Era Living's Aljoia, Thornton place. Is that correct?
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
Lynn, why don't you give us a little bit of background about, your story. You were a nurse before. Is that correct?
Yes. I was a retired nurse. I am a retired nurse administrator.
Uh-huh.
And I worked in a general hospital, it was called, in Everett, Washington, for many years before I decided to retire. And I decided with help because two hospitals were merging. And I said I would stay through the merger, but that I wouldn't stay after. So I took an early retirement, which turned out to be nice.
Yeah. And you wanted to move close to the rest of your family. So how did that evolve? And how did you arrive at Aljoia Thornton Place?
Well, I've been here, come July, it will be 10 years that I lived here. And when I started looking, a friend of mine said she was starting to look, and we were both looking for the future. We thought we were far too young to move into a retirement community. And we said, well, let's go look together for the future. But then after we looked, and I looked at several homes on the east side because I moved here from Kirkland, and my daughter and her family live on this side. But I did look on east of the lake, and then several places downtown and in Seattle and Issaquah and the whole thing. So we decided to do it together, and Aljoia Thornton Place happened to be the last one that we came to. And when we walked in, it just was, I guess it was meant to be. But again, this was just for the future. But we had such a good time. It was they were having an art show, and there was a gala, and the residents were there. And we felt we were very smart because we recognized that we needed to find the people with name tags that identified them as not other guests, but resident. So we were looking, and one of the stories I like to tell, and I tell it quite often, is that we wandered around and we talked to many people, and we walked up, and there was a gentleman sitting on the couch in our library area, and we spotted his name tag. So we said, you're a resident. And he said, oh, yes, but I have a girlfriend. He thought we were hitting on him. So that made us laugh. I love it. And he laughed. And so that was one enjoyable thing. And then as we were browsing in the through the art show and having nice, lovely glasses of wine with different residents, all very interesting. Suddenly, somebody collapsed behind me, and I couldn't see. And I thought, well, immediately I thought, I'm a nurse. They're probably going to need help. What am I going to do? Because I'm a nurse administrator, so I hadn't been doing clinical. So I thought, But it turned out that one of the residents here was a very revered physician. And he already, when I turned around, was kneeling beside the person who had collapsed. And everybody made sure that was or gave them space, and everybody went back to chatting and drinking their wine and enjoying it. The medics came, took him away, and everybody just said, oh, good luck to you, and cheered him on. And I thought, that's really nice. When I have something happen to me, that's what I want to have happen to me. Well, be surrounded by friends and do that.
Yeah. And, with you being a retired nurse, like you said, you feel like you've got the watchful eye of everything to make sure that everything's being handled. And what you saw was something that not only everybody cared
Right.
for everyone around them, but you really saw kind of something that a lot of us don't get to see, when you're looking at a community,
Right.
is, are they going to take care of me? And you really saw that. And I always say to people, and I know that I've said it to Era Living before and in our interviews, but I always say the number one question in the back of people's minds before they move into a community is, can I trust you? Because there's this trust factor of, I'm going to age here, I'm going to grow old, and I may be in a situation where I'm extremely vulnerable. And you got really a firsthand opportunity to see just how much the residents are cared for. Did you not?
Absolutely. And it is, as you say, it was something that you think, well, if it happened to me, I could expect that everybody was very assured that I was going to be taken care of. They made sure the right people got there. The medics came in and helped the gentleman as he left, and it turned out that nobody was just, aghast.
Yeah.
Happened.
Yeah. And obviously you moved in. What was the process like when you checked in, or when you were touring? You obviously got a tour of the building. What did you think of the building? I know you said you had this feeling like it was amazing when you came in, but could you give some details on that, Lynn?
The building was fairly new, so it was just starting to be filled. There were residents who lived here already, but starting to be filled. So it was presented itself well and in good shape, and just like we wanted to be in good shape. It presented itself well. But what I felt and what I was trying to describe in my little story was that the energy here was so palpable. The good feelings, the good energy just surrounded us. So at the end, when we left the building, it was kind of the, this is it. We have a place that in
now,
the future,
did your friend move in there too the same time?
No, she still hasn't moved in anywhere yet.
Oh, okay.
She's younger than I am, but she's
got
still
it.
in a place. But the only good news there is she comes to visit, and she and another friend here and I watch movies once a month, and there's a good connection still there.
Yeah.
So if she ever did move into a place, I'm sure this would be the highest on her list.
Absolutely. Well, and here's the great thing about it is that you make friends obviously when you move in, and it sounds like you've made some friends there as well. Have you not?
And absolutely. You very quickly you begin here to feel like, well, it takes you a little time to learn the new people when they move in, but it becomes not just a family, but a group of friends, and some better than others. And I think in my story, I mentioned that on the day that I moved in, I noticed this woman standing near the elevator, and she had a big smile on her face. And I thought, well, isn't that nice? She looks happy.
Yes.
It turned out she was to be my mentor, because the assignment.
Oh my goodness, isn't that amazing?
She lives just 2 apartments away from me. I have a cat, she has a cat, and we're very good friends.
Nice.
And that's the feeling that was here.
Yeah. And so I'm going to just ask you, if somebody's looking at a senior living community, what kind of advice do you have to share for someone?
Well, I think, usually, well, I can't say usually, that isn't fair, but I imagine that most people have something that they're sort of looking for. So you think about that first, about, do I need something in the healthcare side right away? So you check that out. Most people are given meals to come and check out a place, and I highly recommend that, but not just to see the what kind of food they serve, which is important. But it's the environment in which you serve the food and what the dining room is like, because we spend a lot of time in the dining room, and that's where you have groups of friends and different friends every night, and lots of good stories and that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking at that, but certainly the healthcare side is important, where you check out to see, as I age, what's my plan? And I think most seniors these days have a plan in mind for what's going to happen. A lot don't, but then to move into a place that helps you have access to learning what you should have planned for.
Sure, absolutely. And obviously, as we age, every day, every year, there's something a little bit different and a little thing as we move forward. And it's really nice to have that safety net. And it's clear you're pretty independent right now, but like we say, that could change tomorrow. We don't know for any of us. And so having a community like that, boy, I'm so thrilled to hear your story, Lynn. And I hope people that if they're listening and talking about senior living, I love what you said and the fact that having just check it out, experience it. There's also guest apartments. You could go stay a couple of days and something like that just to see what you think. And I love that you shared your story. So thank you so much for sharing with us, Lynn.
Well, you're very welcome. Thank you for asking me.
And we'll be right back, everyone, right after this. Era Living is locally owned and operates 8 premier retirement communities in Seattle, Renton, Mercer Island, Bellevue, and Issaquah. From vibrant, independent living to compassionate assisted living to secure memory care, Era Living respects and honors older adults by enhancing the quality of their lives. Learn more at eraliving.com.